Maybe he should try talking to the good folks down in Texas. Turns out that a bank in Texas is finding folks are so angry over the bailout that they're willing to put their money where their mouth is and go small when it comes to banking. We're going to show you this report from Fort Worth local TV station WFAA.
Call it mad money. This little bank is raking it in by raking the big guys over the coals. Locally owned Worthington National Bank put up billboards that tap into America's boiling anger at bank bailouts. Result, $5 million in new deposits in just 1 month.
All to do with the campaign. And for our size bank, that's tremendous.
It's Main Street versus Wall Street. Literally, the bank's at the corner of 4th and Main.
I see you, buddy.
It was a bank back in 1914, and Greg Morse turned it back into one a few years ago.
We don't do investing. We don't do insurance. We don't do mortgages, thank God.
What they do is personalized checking and loans for individuals and small businesses, like Letty's Western Wear. The independent community bankers of America say most locally owned banks are still solid with money to lend, but big banks still control about 85% of the nation's deposits.
Where's my money? Joining us now, the CEO of Worthington National Bank, Greg Morse, and Alan Combs, Fox News radio host, is sticking around for this conversation. He wants a part of this as well. Mr. Morse, thank you very much for joining us. So, why did you go about this avenue, putting up those billboards and putting the bullseye on the big banks? Well, not all big banks, some small banks, some of your competitors out there in Texas are taking TARP money as well. What's wrong with TARP money?
Right. Well, we got tired of being associated with engulf and devour our competitors, and so we decided to go out and do our own thing. 80% of the banks in the nation are healthy. We don't need the TARP money. We don't want the TARP money. We're trying to be leaderships. We don't consider leadership to be a position. It's a verb. It's an act. Leadership is not a noun. It's a verb. It's not a position. It's an action. And how can we be leaders in our community and in our industry and to our children if we're taking handouts? So we're vehemently opposed with it, and
Mr. Morse,
we're trying to make it on our own.
You hit the word there, the handout. I think, on SpokeUp.com, a social network I've got where people are speaking up, and there's actually an entire group that is organizing around boycotting any bank that took any bailout, that got any welfare. We could the trillions of dollars we send to welfare for the banks could be feeding hungry kids, and I think people are angry about that. And how's the reception been? Are you finding that people are loving this whole campaign you're on?
Yes, sir. I guess people are voting with their checkbooks because we've had a tremendous response from this campaign.
Alan, let me throw it at you real quick. Over the weekend, Sheila Bair, the FDIC chairwoman, said that she was in favor of limiting the size of banks, and she didn't put a number out there, but the number that people keep talking about is $100 billion. Yet Tim Geithner, the Treasury Secretary appointed by Obama, says, hey, you know what, we're going to make sure the big bank is intact. What is it? Which one should we do?
Well, here's what Mr. Moore, you ask a very good question, because Mr. Moore, one of the things we saw in the package before Mr. Moore came on was your bank doesn't do insurance, doesn't do mortgages, and so isn't there a need? Don't people need to go to some banks to get those full services
If they go to specialists
that you don't offer? So are you saying you're against any bailout for any bank? There might be people who need services you don't offer, need to go to those other banks that need to stay in business.
No. If you need insurance, go to an insurance company. If you need a mortgage, go to a mortgage company. If you want to invest, go to an investment house. We don't try to be all things to all people. We're just a banking boutique.
Right, but I mean, do we want all these big banks to go out of business? You want them all out of business.
I want the shareholders lost.
You want all the jobs gone, you want all the banks gone.
Good point, because the fact, like another bank in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Plains Capital, this is a healthy bank, and their president is saying, hey, don't criticize us for taking TARP money because $100 million of this TARP money that we took, we're going to give in jumbo loans,
Right.
which no one in this area is really doing. So we're helping the housing market, helping the economy by lending out this money
Exactly
that we normally wouldn't do jumbo loans.
Exactly right. Those banks that, not the one Mr. Moore is associated with, obviously, but those other banks that get that huge money can do those kinds of loans that are good for the economy. It's putting money, it's called,
Is that good for the economy?
That's putting money,
an unlevel playing field for Mr. Morse?
Wait a minute, how is it unlevel?
Because he's paying all kinds of dues and not getting free money.
How is it unlevel? He's talking about how great he's doing. He's doing terrific.
He's not getting free
He's
money.
finding his market. He's finding his niche. He chose not to take the money. Two different businesses.
He's looking for deposits only.
Amen.
Hey,
I'm cool.
You're talking about letting, the money center banks fail. It's a completely different
I'm
argument.
talking about letting the shareholders of the money center banks
the same thing.
fail.
It's the same
Oh,
thing.
you can watch the shareholders and recapitalize it.
Why do you want the shareholders to fail?
Because they took stupid risk and the companies that they invested in are insolvent, and I, as a taxpayer, don't need to bail out the shareholders.
And when that money goes back and the economy restimulates the economy and more people are getting mortgages, that's a bad thing, right? That's a bad thing.
I don't want my money taken and given to shareholders of banks.
All right, you hold your money then. When no one takes,
That's I try to, but you won't let me. You and the Republican regime keeps taking it all.
Alan, he doesn't even have that much money.
Right,
he keeps on talking here.
You're a big talker, aren't you?
That's why I'm on TV. I got $5.
See? And how much money do you have? Eric's
got all the money.
He's got hundreds.
I got a lot of money.
He always has like dollars.
Hey, I invest.
Actually, I got
Alan,
20.
thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Great to have you.